the North Koreans taking the temperature down a notch.
U.S. officials are offering more of a conciliatory tone toward North Korea.
We continue to be interested in finding a way to get to dialogue, but that's up to him.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday praised North Korean leader Kim Jong-un for a wise decision not to fire missiles towards the U.S. territory of Guam, which has eased escalating tension between the two countries. Trump warned North Korea last week it would face fire and fury if it threatened the United States, prompting North Korea to say it was considering plans to fire missiles towards the Pacific island of Guam.
Though the latest threat does appear to be more credible.
What's different this time, though, is they go into very details of how they're going to launch missiles toward Guam, where or how long the missiles are going to fly. They have also becoming very specific about technical aspects of their missiles and test firing, like altitude and flight time and so on, while they have been actually launching them, not just with words.
If Kim Jong-un's maps are anything to go by, plans to fire missiles into the waters near Guam look to be in line with the threat made by North Korea last week. Pictures released by state media show a trajectory, starting on North Korea's east coast, home to its submarine base, and moving over to Japan before landing roughly 20 miles from the Guam shoreline.
So, a win for the administration, at least for now, to have North Korea back off this?
No question. I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. It is a win. The administration has introduced components in dealings with North Korea, first with carriers there in force, and not taking any crap, if you will, from the leader of North Korea. They brought China to the table, both non-publicly and publicly as well too. So there's no question about it that they had some influence over China and then in North Korea, and it's a win.
Well, in place of that word, I'll use criticism, because the president certainly did, Congressman, receive a lot of criticism for his rhetoric on North Korea. Does it turn out that that's actually a winning strategy?
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. He has been very threatening beyond a normal statement. And as I said, they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
That remains to be seen in terms of it's a winning strategy all the time, of course. I think you can only beat your chest so much on both sides, right? You know, when you look at North Korea, they've been doing that for a while now, and then they've been doing it in a way to get concessions from previous administrations like that, and you've seen this president is not up for that. You've seen Secretary Mattis is not up for that. So they've been very clear if they shoot some missiles and hit American interests or allies, that it'll be go time, that they'll be ready to go, and they should. And if that happens, if North Korean leader launch missiles that hit American territory or America, then Congress should immediately declare war.
They can be very, very nervous. I'll tell you what, and they should be very nervous, because things will happen to them like they never thought possible. Okay? He's been pushing the world around for a long time. I read about we're in Guam by August 15th. Let's see what he does with Guam. He does something in Guam. It will be an event the likes of which nobody's seen before, what will happen in North Korea.
And when you say that, what do you mean?
You'll see. You'll see. And he'll see. You know what I can say? Hopefully it'll all work out. Okay? Nobody loves a peaceful solution better than President Trump, that I can tell you. Hopefully it'll all work out. But this has been going on for many years. Would have been a lot easier to solve this years ago before they were in the position that they're in. But we will see what happens. We think that lots of good things could happen, and we could also have a bad solution. But we think lots of good things can happen.
What would be a bad solution, sir?
I think you know the answer to that.
Defense Secretary James Mattis warned earlier today what will happen if they dare to do that. Listen to this.
Well, I think if they fire at the United States, it could escalate into war very quickly. Yes, that's called war.
Then he was pressed on the issue, and he made his feelings even clearer about how the US would respond in the event of an attack.
You just said if they launch towards the United States. So can you help?
No. If they shoot at the United States, I'm assuming they hit the United States.
That's what I wanted to ask.
If they do that, then it's game on. And we will try our best to make sure it does not hit the United States. But we'll know that's where it's going.
Guam is the United States.
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay, so if you assess the trajectory very quickly, hits Guam, I understand you to mean?
We'll take it out.
And frankly, the people that were questioning that statement, was it too tough? Maybe it wasn't tough enough. They've been doing this to our country for a long time, for many years. And it's about time that somebody stuck up for the people of this country and for the people of other countries. So, if anything, maybe that statement wasn't tough enough. And we're backed by 100% by our military. We're backed by everybody. This is happening worldwide, but this is a national emergency, and we are drawing documents now to so attest.
A U.S. State Department spokesperson told reporters Kim Jong-un will have to do more than just abort plans to fire missiles into waters near Guam.
I mean, the secretary has been clear about we will see it. They know what they need to do to get us to come to the negotiating table. We are willing to have talks about this. This is obviously a very serious matter. Cookies and children aside, a serious matter. They know what they need to do, and the Secretary has said we're not going to negotiate our way back to the negotiating table. I mean, the Secretary, I think, was pretty clear about that today. Just a couple of days ago, he spoke about this as well. He said, look, we'll talk, but they have to take some serious steps. Susan Thornton, our Acting Assistant Secretary for East Asia Pacific, who's been very engaged with the Secretary on this issue, has said the same thing. Look, we're willing to sit down and talk with them, but it appears that that's not going to happen imminently. They have to take some serious steps before we get there.
Well, does not doing something count as a step?
I think they would have to be a little bit more clear. And again, when Kim Jong-un talked about Guam, that again is a hypothetical of sorts. Right. So they would have to do a lot more.
Well, okay. So just to be clear, not launching ballistic missiles towards Guam is not enough for you guys to talk with them.
I feel like that's sort of a question that my child might propose. You know, if my child were to say, hey, Mom, if I don't steal this cookie, will you then give me television? Right. No, the answer is no on that one. Okay. I think we can all relate to that.
Are you suggesting then that Kim Jong-un is
No,
a child?
I am not suggesting. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting it's such an extreme hypothetical to reward someone for not doing something.
Well, right. But so, okay, so what, in other words, then, must they do affirmatively or positively?
And I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. I mean, the Secretary has been clear about we will see it. They know what they need to do to get us to come to the negotiating table. We are willing to have talks about this. This is obviously a very serious matter. Cookies and children aside, a serious matter. They know what they need to do, and the Secretary has said we're not going to negotiate our way back to the negotiating table.
So just to put the finest point on it possible, you're not going to go and sit down with them unless they take steps that they know that they have to do. That's just them saying we're open or we're not. We're going to hold off on sending missiles towards Guam is not going to get you interested in having a dialogue.
I think they would have to do quite a bit more.
All right, thanks.
Hi, Dave. Hey.
Hi. If they know what they have to do, what's the problem in us knowing what they have to do?
Some of these would involve, private diplomatic conversations that we have with our friends in the region. I think the main point here is that the U.S., along with our partners and allies, we're all on the same page. We're talking with a whole lot of countries about this pressure campaign, and nothing has changed.
So if they know what they have to do and their allies, so South Korea and Japan know what they have to do, it's only the U.S. people and our readers who don't know what they have to do?
Look, Kim Jong-un, we would like to have talks with him when the time is right, when they show that they are serious about an effort to move toward denuclearization. We have not seen that yet. Remember, and let me go back to this again, 2 nuclear tests last year, 2 ICBM tests in a month alone. We have not seen that they've been serious at this point. Okay.
So,
Hi, Sayed.
If they say that we will no longer launch missiles over Guam or into that area, into the Pacific, that would not be enough? I just want to understand you correctly.
I think I answered that question. Again, this can get into extreme hypothetical situation, and I don't want to get into that.
Because they said that,
I understand.
they were specific. They said...
Учебная тревога!
News.